creative friends, it's Gwen. Are you looking for a super cute and easy paper craft project? Have you ever thought to create an adorable little mini album? Well, in today's video, I'll show you just how you can do that step by step. A big thank you to Temu for sending these supplies. More on them later. Let's get started. Here's a look at the supplies that I'll be using. This mini album is actually going to come together using this die right here. Links are all in the description box below, along with a 30% off coupon code for your very first order. I am going to start with some plain white cardstock from my stash, and this is the die that I'm using to construct the album. This die is actually a box die, so there's a couple of sections of the die that I will not be using. The top and bottom flaps, so I am going to trim those off with my trimmer. I've cut a total of 6 of the dies because my mini album here is going to have 6 pages. It's time to get constructing, and I am going to use the double-sided tape to do this. I found the tape to be really super sticky, which I love. It's perfect for creating albums just like this. I've left a lot of this footage in here for you so that you can see how it's all getting constructed together. Essentially, I am running the double-sided tape down the remaining flap from the die, and that flap is what attaches it to the previous page. I have seen a very similar technique used with envelopes, so to make envelope journals. So you do build the page a bit like a book. You start from the front page of the journal, and then you just keep adding pages until you're happy with how many pages you have. I would recommend using cardstock for this process rather than, say, a pattern paper, because you really want that sturdiness. This is the foundation of the mini album, so you want to start with a really strong foundation so that you've got something sturdy that you can add all your pretty embellishments to. When you have finished adding all the pages, your album will look like this. Now, we do need to tidy up the spine there. To do that, I am going to fold the flap over the spine of the book, essentially. I want to cover up all of those joins that I have created so that the spine looks nice and neat and tidy. What I also did was cut an extra die cut piece of that same die and trimmed off all of the flaps. So I was actually left with just regular square edges. You can see me do that there. And I'm going to position that right on top there. It's a really nice way to give the book a really clean appearance. You don't actually end up seeing any of the joins of the flaps, so you can't really even tell how it's constructed just by looking at it. Of course, I need to give you a flip through the book so that you can see exactly what it looks like at this stage. And now we get to decorate it. This is the most fun part. I'm starting with some washi tape. I actually have a bunch of washi tape from Temu, and it is all beautiful. The quality is amazing and the prices are too. If you haven't heard of Temu, they are an online marketplace that offers really great products at amazing prices. Of course, they have craft supplies, but they also do have home decor items, they have fashion, jewelry, a bunch of stuff. There's free shipping and free returns up to 90 days, and of course they accept all of the major credit cards and AfterPay. Of course, I have hooked you all up with a great discount code. Check the description box below for 30% off of your first order. There's also exclusive discounts on some hand-picked products that I know you will love. It's time to decorate this beauty, and I am starting with this gorgeous pattern paper. There are so many pages in this little book, and they're all gorgeous, and I'm just going to trim them to fit each of the pages of the album. I'm going to leave the scallop edges white and trim the pattern paper to fit in a rectangle shape. I didn't like the harsh corners there, so of course I get to use my corner rounder here to round those edges, and I found that helps them to fit within the album really nicely. I now have 3 of these punches in my stash. They are fabulous. fabulous. I am going to do a little more work on the cover now, and I just want to create some paper layers. I am going to keep this pretty simple. That paper that I have there already is so beautiful. I don't want to cover up too much of it. The tag I'm using here is from this pack right here, and then I'm going to have a little dig into my stash to find a butterfly sticker. Temu have a bunch of scrapbooking kits that include lots of beautiful little ephemera pieces which are perfect for albums just like these. I am going to continue to work on the album page by page, and it was at this point that I came up with the idea that each page is going to be very loosely based on a particular colour. It's all going to have a very vintage feel, and the base colour is going to be those beautiful warm browns and creams, but every page will also have a bit of a feature colour. Here's a look at how it is coming together. So every page now has a base pattern paper. It's time to add some pretty layers, and these papers right here were perfect for that because they are actually in the same shape as my album. They're long, skinny rectangles, and it also so happened that there was a bunch of them in like some really muted, pretty colors that also matched the album. There are greens and pinks and blues, and I'm going to use all of the colors. In the scrapbook kit, there is also this twine, and I'm actually going to use that to wrap around the spine of the book. It's just decorative. It's not holding anything together. The book is already bound with the paper and the double-sided tape. This is purely decoration. I'm also going to pull out these mini cards. These come in a bunch of different designs. I have the ones that have fairies on them, and you'll see here that a bunch of them have coordinating colors with what I have going on already. So I am going to sort them, and I'm going to layer the yellow fairy on the yellow page, green fairy on the green page, and so on, because yeah, every single page in the album is going to be a very slight different color. With that done, I am going to add one more detail to the front cover here. I did find a vintage button from my stash, and I did want to show you how it's all looking. Can you see the colors on colors? Loving it so far. I do want some more layers for the album, so I am going to pull out some leftover scraps from the pattern paper that I used right in the beginning. This paper tears beautifully, and I really love the texture that torn edge creates. I love that it's an extra layer that doesn't add a lot of bulk to the mini album either, and it gives the fairies a little bit of an anchoring point and a little bit of extra interest just for the album in general. I am still sticking with my colors here, so you can see I'm trying to find sections of that pattern paper that go with the color that I'm featuring on that page. It was at this point that I had this amazing idea, at least I thought at the time, to decorate the side of the album, and I've done that with some vintage buttons from my stash. Yes, it did take quite a bit of effort to get them threaded on there, but I love the look. I also punched some tabs just with my tab punch, and I'm going to add those along the side of the album here. I've added 4 along the edge there, and I love the little detail that it adds to the outside part of the mini album. When the album's closed, those little details sort of stand out, and I love that look. I've also run the album through my sewing machine and added a lot of stitch details within it. I feel like adding thread to a project like this really helps it feel like vintagey and handmade, and yeah, it just really goes with the look that I'm going for here. It was also at this point that I thought I would add in another layer within the pages. I am going to use washi to do that. Washi is great because of course it doesn't add any bulk at all. So it's an extra layer of interest, some extra details for the journal, but it's not adding any bulk. Those 2 packs of washi that I did get are so great because they all came with varying designs, so the prints were very different, but also the width of the washi was quite different. There was some that was super wide, and then there was this one which is quite thin. So well worth checking out, and be sure to check the description box below for details on how you can get 30% off of your order. It's all coming together really nicely. I did have a couple of empty spots though go in the pages, and I thought, you know what we can do to fill those is add in some butterflies. They are a clear sticker and they are a lovely way to add extra detail, again, with not adding any bulk. It's so funny. When I'm scrapbooking, I want the texture, I want the height, I want things to be, really textured and layered. But when I am creating mini albums and doing my journaling, I want the layers, but I don't want the bulk. And all of the supplies that I have received from Temu have been so perfect for these kinds of projects. I am going to finish by adding butterflies to each of the pages in their coordinating colors, of course, and that's going to call this little mini album done. If you'd like to see in detail all of the supplies that Temu sent me, I did do an unboxing video. You can check it out right here. Thank you so much for joining me, my creative friends. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye!